Let us see how to insert the data into the table. We need to use insert clause to insert the data, and here is the sample syntax. It has to start with insert into, then you have to specify the table name. Optionally, you can specify column names in circular brackets, then values, and then corresponding values to respective columns in circular brackets. If you have 3 columns specified here, there should be 3 values, and even the order matters. Also, based upon the data type of the values, you might have to pass some of the value in single quotes or double quotes. Numeric values are not typically enclosed in single quotes or double quotes. If you don't pass columns after table name, then we need to specify values for all the columns in the right order. It is not good practice to insert records without specifying column names. There are exceptions, but typically we use columns after table name and then values, and we pass the corresponding values to respective columns. When it comes to developing the insert statement, as part of the insert statement, if you do not specify value for serial column, so if you do not specify the column which is of type serial and corresponding value, it will automatically populate that serial type column with sequence generated number. In this case, we have user ID. It is of type serial, and if you do not specify user ID as one of our columns in the insert statement and pass corresponding value to it, it will just use some sequence generated integer to populate that field. It is not mandatory to pass the values for those fields where default is specified. Values specified in default clause will be used. In case if you want to override with non-default values, then you have to specify the column name in the column list after table name, and you have to pass the corresponding value as part of the values clause. It is mandatory to specify columns and corresponding values for all columns where not null is specified. So if you don't have those columns which are specified as not null, and if there is no default defined for them, then you need to ensure that those columns exist as part of your insert statement. If the column is not null and if there is a default specified, as I have explained earlier, the default value will be used to populate that not null field. Now let's try to insert few records here. We can either insert one record at a time, or we can insert multiple records in one insert statement. So you can actually load this SQL magic. It was already loaded earlier, that's why it is showing error. Don't worry too much about this, just ignore. Then you have to create this environment variable if you want to connect to the database. I am truncating the table users, which will clean up if there is any data in the table. Then I am running this insert statement, which will insert one record. I can also validate by saying %SQL select star from users. You can see the results here. If you want to use the SQL Workbench because you might not have Jupyter based environment to connect to the database, all you need to do is just copy paste these commands without this %SQL or %SQL into your SQL Workbench, and you are good to go. For example, I can just copy this select star from users into my SQL Workbench, paste it, select this one line and run this, and I should be able to see that one record here. You can see the results here. Now you can insert one more record here. If you want to insert using SQL Workbench, you can copy this, paste it here, and then you can actually select this one and run this. It will take care of inserting one record. Based upon whether we have configured commit to be default while creating this profile, it will either commit the data or it might not commit. We can validate by running this query here. Let's see if it is committed or not by running this query select star from users from Jupyter Hub environment. You see it is only seeing one record, which means it is not committed automatically when we run this. So to commit, all you need to do is you just have to say commit. You can use either lowercase or uppercase. I typically use uppercase for all my keywords in the database. That's why I am using uppercase here. Now I should be able to run this and I should be able to see the two records. Let me run one more insert command here. Now we have 3 records and we should be able to run select star from users either from here or from SQL Workbench. You can see all the 3 records here. You can also insert multiple records as part of one insert statement. You can see here I am saying insert into users. Specified columns only once. So user first name, last name, email ID, password, user role is active. And then as part of the values, I have specified 3 records, comma separated. You can see the comma here, which means it will insert 3 records. However, if you have different type of columns or different set of columns for few records and other set of columns for other records, then probably you might have to develop two different queries. Each insert will insert all those columns which you are interested in for multiple records. For now, I can run this to insert 3 records in one shot, and we should be able to validate by running select star from users here. You can see 6 records in the table users which we have created as part of the previous topic and loaded as part of this topic. As we understood how to get data into the table using insert statement, now let's explore the update statement to update the existing data in the table.